Bears country. Where is it? It's in your man cave. Your home. Your car. Your local bar. Your city. State. It's across the world. It's in your heart. And it's here. The Bears Country Podcast.
Well, my name is Dan Sciortino. I'm here with my guest, Dan Aguire. We have Cliff Victoria with his Cliff Notes coming up later in the show. Let's all take a collective breath. I understand yesterday was a tough loss. Excuse me, I have a cold, a chest cold specifically. My voice sounds terrible to me. It's very crackly and odd, but I apologize to everyone else. Last night's game was a game that I thought we were going to win, and I'm sure that Dan here will agree with me. We thought we were going to win this game, and here we are after another loss. It seems like fucking Groundhog Day all over again. I almost want to just do this show with no stats, not talking about anything specifically, just so like we can use this as a repeat episode for the next Green Bay loss. I'm sorry to sound so negative, but I've been trying for so long to not be negative, and here we are again after another ass whooping last night. How do you feel, buddy? I mean,
yeah, very similarly. You know, you think if not now, then when? When were you going to be able to turn it around? And it was just so personal once again at the end when the Packers fans are chanting the Bears still suck or whatever. And it's just like, you know what? They're fucking right, I guess. I'm not surrendering the season or anything, but so many question marks manifested. I feel like Mike Martz was grinning wherever he was. Like, see, I told you Fields sucks. Of course, I don't subscribe to that theory, but it was a tough game. But I'm hearing multiple criticisms that bother me. Like, for one, it's like I kept hearing, well, he only had 11 pass attempts. But then in the same regard, I would hear, but they got away from the running game. It's like, which is it? And when you're going 3 and out over and over and over, it's kind of hard to do either. But especially when, you know, he's getting hit, and maybe he's not reading the defense. That's what Martz would say. Maybe he's holding the ball too long. That's what Martz would say. And he's getting sacked too much. Adam Johns had a tweet that said St. Brown was wide open on a seam route on a 3rd down and would have probably scored if Fields hit him. So all that is kind of sickening. But even so, we saw the first possession and it looked so smooth. And David Montgomery was running so well. Like, but I don't understand how the defense couldn't tackle all night either. It's just like everything went wrong. It was a total, like, Fields is going to bear this as his loss, but it felt like the whole team collectively got their asses whipped. But in the same regard, if they get that touchdown at the end, which they, like Aldo said immediately, they got, and I was like, ooh, I don't know, but it was in Green Bay. I knew they weren't going to reverse the call. But the point is, if they get that score, they're in the game 24-17, despite being thoroughly outplayed. So I don't know what it all means. It just means we lost again. It doesn't. We lose the shootouts, the close ones, the blowouts. I mean, we just find new ways to lose.
I know. I mean, it looks so good. Opening drive, touchdown, right? We're thinking, oh, we got this game. We can just, even if we have to go back and forth, we're going to get this game, because we knew they were going to score again at some point. I mean, you can't count Aaron Rodgers out. And then we go the rest of the game without scoring another touchdown. And what was the score? Yeah, we didn't go the rest of the game without scoring another touchdown. So we had that touchdown in the end. And that drive, my feed cut out watching the games, and we were freaking out because we had to like restart our Amazon Fire Stick and all that stuff. And I missed the last portion of that drive, and it came up right when they were on the goal line. And then Justin Fields scores, and he clearly had the ball over the plane. And of course, they don't give it to him. And the things that you have talked about for so long, and I have noticed and have not had my voice to talk about on the air until recently, all of the fucking penalties that the Packers
they just get away with it.
Right.
That left tackle jumped. It was a false start like 3 different times where he jumped up almost a full second on plays that were big completions for Green Bay, not called. Their right tackle was holding all night, and Collinsworth's like, oh, he's doing a great job. And you saw the one play that he literally wrestled someone to the ground. I forget which Bear it was, and they threw a flag and then picked it up. It's just like they're allowed to hold, they're allowed to jump early, but it's like if you say that, you're whining, though. And it's like, you're right, they deserve to win. I get it, Green Bay deserved to win. But these things always seem to happen, not just against the Bears. It happens to Detroit and Minnesota as well. They have superior home field advantage, but the calls always go their way.
It's like they have their own refs.
Well, you heard on the broadcast, they said Aaron knows all the officials by first name. Mm-hmm. Of course he does, because they give him all the fucking calls constantly. If you sack him, they find a new way to say your sack was illegal and create a new rule the next season so you can't hit him. That happened in Minnesota in Barr a couple of years ago. Oh, he fell too hard on Aaron. Fuck that guy, man. Okay, he won. I'll give him that. He owns us. We had to hear that all night on NBC. But let me say one more thing about what you were saying about the stream. Once more, that's why I'm begging the NFL to at least have the winner, whether it be Amazon or Apple, whomever gets a Sunday ticket, that allegedly they're going to sell a portion of it to Sunday Ticket for the over-the-air TV portion back to DirecTV. I hope that happens, because what you just said, that's why I don't want to stream. And like in week 1, I was sitting there with Jenny. We were watching the San Francisco game, and I kept seeing people's comments like in the Bears thread on Twitter in the private group there. And they were seeing plays that were 3 and 4 plays behind. Like I was like 3 plays ahead of them. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's exactly why I don't want to stream. I want to be able to get Sunday Ticket on my TV. And I'm afraid they're going to fuck this up by going, to a product that's only streaming. Streaming. I know it's 2022, the internet, the technology, but you can't beat TV. I'm sorry, you can't.
Well, the same thing happened to us. We were watching the game. They're driving down the field. They're at like the 30-yard line at one point, and then we lost our feed. And we had to reboot the whole damn thing.
I'm saying I don't want to have to do that next year. See, I still watch it on TV. Mm-hmm. I want to maintain a product on TV. I don't want to have to fucking stream, because it's just garbage, man.
Mm-hmm. And here we pick up the ball on the 1-yard line, and then we see the last, play on that, which was the touchdown that they took away from us. And it's like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, look at that.
David Montgomery ran straight down the field, the whole drive. Yep. No pass attempts. And there, like Aldo could vouch for me that I've been complaining. I complained for like 4 years during Nagy's run. I was like, God damn it! Every time it's 4th and goal, we're in a shotgun. They did that twice against Minnesota in the last game of 2021, and Dalton got sacked both times from like the half-yard line. Why would you and then it's like Nagy somewhere smaling. They're using his playbook.
Yeah, he's like, he must be using the plays from the playbook I left behind there.
I don't understand. If you smash mouth all the way down the field. At one point, I don't know if you got to see it, but it was like 2nd and 20 after a penalty, and David Montgomery had a 28-yard run immediately, first down Bears. They're driving straight down the field. It's beautiful. That means he is running over their defense. And you get to the 4th and 1. Look, you could put Fields under center. You could go play action and do a bootleg off of that, a waggle, or just hand it to fucking Montgomery, who's run all over them. But if he's under center, you give him more options versus if he's in the shotgun, he's not throwing right there. He hasn't completed a pass all night. So, like, why is he going to be throwing there? He's not. He's going to run. You know it. So I just think, and then Eberflus to like defend the call in the post game. Man, I thought that was. I mean, that call.
The entire Bears universe is blowing up over that shotgun call. I mean, what the hell? There's no reason there should be in a shotgun formation there. Like you said, they need to hand the ball off to Montgomery there. Period. He ran the ball all the way down the damn field. I mean, most of his yards were on that run, or on that drive, I should say. So maybe not most of them, but a good chunk of them. And then they go out of shotgun and have the quarterback do a sneak.
And even so, it appeared that he scored anyway. But why even make it that close? Like, just hand the ball to your back. And God, he was running all over them. But Aldo said it immediately. He goes, he's in. And I was like, they're not going to give us that call in Green Bay. I knew they weren't going to give us the call. It could have been a lot more visually obvious, and they still would have given the call to the Packers. Maybe that's
100% agree.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. I'm a sore loser. Fuck you. I've seen too many games, at that field. I know the calls always go against us, going back to Don Mikowski in 89.
It's almost becoming a fucking conspiracy, though, Dan. I mean, the calls that don't go our way, the calls that go for them that shouldn't have. I mean, their right tackle was bear hugging our one of our guys, whoever it was at the moment, and they didn't call it. He was bear hugging him. He turned him around and had him like wrapped up with his arms around him. They didn't call it.
Like 74 was holding all night, and their left tackle kept jumping out of his stance too soon, and there was no false starts called on him. And I don't think 74, the right tackle, had any holding called on him. It's just like they're lying. So last week we were, what if Batiara or whatever the fuck his name is plays? It's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Their guys get away with anything they want to get away with.
It doesn't matter if they have the third string right tackle or left tackle in the game. It doesn't matter. They're going to give the calls to him. It's amazing. It's like they have their own fucking refs that are paid off and they follow them around.
Yeah, it's like they're a touring band. Green Bay and the refs come together. That's one deal. And God, at least Collinsworth, for the most part, wasn't just sucking Rodgers off in the broadcast. He was trying to say some good things about the Bears, and they came off a little patronizing at times, but I feel like he was trying to say that the Bears are going to be good soon, and they have a good coach now. And I think he was trying to praise us in spite of all of this. But boy, toward the fourth quarter, though, they were having a good time. It seemed like they had been drinking.
And they had been preparing the entire evening for this statement by Mike Tirico. I bet you Chris Collinsworth wishes he could have said it. And Aaron Rodgers beats the Bears. What else is new?
Right. Well,
fuck you, Mike Tirico.
Well, I could immediately point to Mike Tirico having like copious sexual harassment complaints filed on him at ESPN, but whatever. That would make me an asshole, wouldn't it? But Mike Tirico may be a pervert, but he's right on that. So I can't complain. We deserve that. I hate it, but it's to use one of Trump's vernaculars. It's not fake news. It's true.
And then they go on the field, and she says to Aaron Rodgers on the field interview, "You still own the Bears." To Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't even listen to that. That's accurate.
The fucking narrative he created last year by running for a cheesy fucking douchebag 5 or 7 yard run in the corner to the end zone, and then playing like he's God, telling everyone that he owns the Bears. And now that's the fucking narrative that they're going to use until he is gone.
Right. And he blames it on some woman that was supposedly giving him the middle finger, which there's no visual evidence of, by the way.
I did not see it either.
Yeah, it's just like, I think he was just saying that because he fucking scored. Like I bet no one flipped him off. He's just saying it because that's his attitude. That's his disposition. That's what he believes to be true. And unfortunately, it seems to be true. And I just hate it. Like, if we weren't going to beat them this week, it's like, when are we going to beat them? I don't know.
This was my time to beat them. This is how I thought we were going to beat Green Bay. Was beginning of the season. They only had one game of game film on us to plan from, and it was in shitty weather and shitty conditions in a situation that they didn't run their offense that they normally probably would have. And so I thought this was the win. If you're going to go up to Green Bay and beat them in Green Bay, the circumstances that you're going to do that in is going to be the beginning of the season when it's still warm and a new coaching regime where they don't have much game film on them. And that was the win for me. And I predicted 24-10 and they lost 27-10. It's like they took it to that personal fucking level, just like you're talking about, Dan. And they had to add an extra 3 points to what I called for my Bears win and win 27-10 the other way around. Fuck you, Green Bay. Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I know. Jordan, if you're tired of hearing them, then shut them up and beat them. That's
Jordan a Packers fan or what? That comment felt like it was a jab at us, but I don't know why, if you're a Bears fan, you would want to be jabbing us right now.
Exactly. But we have to fucking beat them. What the hell? It's the time was now. And it didn't happen. That game was almost embarrassing in a way.
I've got a comment, he just sent another. I didn't see them flip him off. If they flipped him off, I didn't see it. Why would I lie? This fucking guy, every time he comes on here, is trying to be malicious toward us.
Yeah, I didn't see them flip off Aaron Rodgers in that game either. I've watched it many, many times. I made a clip of it for the show the other night. I didn't see it in that clip. So whether maybe he's looking up into the 40 rows up or something, and he saw someone flipping him off. I'm sure somebody was fucking flipping him off, but it wasn't right there on the field like you described in the first row. So,
yeah. Sorry, I lost my patience there, but I do apologize. For the Bears, like I said, yeah, obviously we wanted to win, and I'm sure the regime wanted to win. Every other coach during this scenarios wanted to win as well. It's unfathomable for me. Like, I know the defense isn't exactly like Lovey's 06 defense or even the 85 that we always hear about, but they're better than what they played last night. And I'm not even picking on the corners because they're young and they're going to grow from that, but just the tackling.
Yeah, it's like they were nervous, right?
Tackling game we've had all year. You watch at the end of the year, we're going to say that was the worst game we had all season on tackling, and it just happens at the most inopportune time. Where they got run over. They got pushed around. Green Bay really deserved to win the game, and I hate saying that just because they took it to us. Like, Jones was running the fuck over the Bears. Oh my God, they could have won it with Jordan Love at quarterback easily. Just hand the ball to their backs and just run over us. They didn't even need Aaron Rodgers last night.
No shit. They've done it before with Brett Hundley. They've beat us with so many different quarterbacks. It's like, you're right. They could have just put Love in there and had him hand the ball off the whole damn game. Of course, Jones had to one-up Montgomery by having just a little bit better stats, considering Montgomery ran for like 8.1 yards per carry on the game, and Jones had to fucking one-up him by 8.8. So
something else. Let me ask you this, because I watched the replay a couple of times, and again, everyone loves Mooney. I like him too, but the play where they took the shot deep, it looked like he was kind of nonchalantly running. Maybe he didn't expect the ball to come to him, but I don't think Fields overthrew him that far. It just felt like he wasn't running full speed there. Am I off base? What do you think?
I kind of felt the same way. I said to my wife at the time, I said, it seems like Fields should have thrown the ball more to his left so that he could have veered away from the defender and ran to his left to catch it. He threw it more in line to where it was not catchable. It was overthrown. But if he would have just kind of lofted it to his left a little bit more, Mooney could have adjusted with the defender to his right and got away from him and caught up to the ball. There was a lot of pressure in his face too. So I don't know. Who knows what he was thinking?
I'm not sure if Mooney was running full speed, though. I really don't.
Yeah, looking at that, to your point, I think you're probably right. I don't think he really was.
Maybe he didn't expect the ball to be coming.
That's true. Maybe he wasn't.
It's hard to run full speed for granted, that's what you're getting paid to do. But if you're running down the field, every play, for 4 quarters, and finally the pass comes your way in the fourth quarter, you're like, I've done this 27 times before. What? He hasn't thrown the ball. So I don't know. But it was such a bad game for Fields overall, although he had that great first drive, scored the touchdown. His rating is in the 40s. that really hurt his narrative. Again, it's on national TV, and it really hurts me specifically, being his advocate and a believer in him, that this happened to him again. I mean, he could come out and have 140 rating against the Texans, and no one's going to care. They're
Right,
like, oh, he couldn't beat Green Bay. He's 0-3. The stage is too big for him. The criticism's not going away.
Then they're going to bring on the narrative that, oh, he beat a shitty team. Yeah, he passed for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns if he did, in next week's game. And the narrative will be that he did it against a shitty team. It just sucks that we can't build upon this win from the Niners and kick the fucking Packers' ass. At least beat them to bring the narrative into the next week that, oh, Justin Fields is the real deal. When you look at all the quarterbacks drafted in that draft, Wilson can't stay on the field. Trey Lance just got injured for the season. So now there's only 3 of the 5 quarterbacks left standing. And Jones didn't have that great of a game yesterday. Lawrence had a pretty good game. But Fields is he's getting shit on now with the narrative because of this past performance. It's just going to build on that because everyone loves talking about a shitty narrative with the Bears and Justin Fields, and it's just they're gonna domino effect this, and it just pisses me off. That's where it's gonna go. We both know it.
As soon as, if you think about it, as soon as Trubisky we were winning some games in 18. We hadn't even got through midseason, and I think it was Michael Lombardi that said, all these Trubisky jerseys, hell, they'll be on a clearance rack in 2 years, and this kid's out of the league. And he was doing all right at the time. But immediately, as soon as they start to win with him, it's like, oh, he sucks. Same thing when the Cutler trade happened. First half they throw 3 interceptions. They're like, oh, this guy, he's is a bad trade. And before that, it was Grossman. That was anytime a quarterback in Chicago has any success, immediately the narrative is he isn't any good. It comes out like in that first season they have any success. So I'm not surprised that maybe it's a conspiracy theory again. I think if Fields is almost on any other team, they're talking about his athleticism and all the potential. But with the Bears, it's like, oh, he's the worst quarterback in the league.
I've been noticing this for years, Dan. As soon as you start to build something good with a quarterback in Chicago, I mean, we remember in 2006, they were talking about Rex Grossman being the MVP of the league for the first 7 games of the year.
Yeah, he was the offensive player of the month in September of 2006.
Yeah, then he comes out and he has a bad game against the Cardinals,
and we still won.
And everyone's going, oh, he has small hands and all this and all that. And then they just started picking on him for the rest of the season. What's that going to do to anybody? That's going to get into your fucking head. It has to. And it doesn't matter. You get to Cutler, and then they have to find something wrong with Cutler.
Yeah, his knee, he wasn't really hurt. He's a pussy. That was the thing at the championship game, which, again, is so asinine. But it's
Meanwhile, the first couple of seasons he was in Chicago, he had a 7-2 record and broke his finger on a interception that he was tackling the guy on.
Tackle on, no less, against the Chargers.
He had to tackle the guy himself and broke his thumb. The next season they were 7-3 or something, and then he gets injured, and then he finally gets to 2010 where he plays the season, and they get to the championship game, and then he has that injury, and it was just unfortunate, But they had to go. Everyone had to start riding him. They had to come out with a cigarette smoking fucking Cutler thing, and it doesn't matter if it's no matter what quarterback it is, no matter how good they are, no matter what the potential is. Here we see it again with Justin Fields. We know we're going to be sitting here listening to the bullshit for a while until he proves everyone wrong.
Musa Muhammad once said that Chicago's the place where wide receivers go to die. It might be where the quarterbacks come to die.
No shit, because you can't develop a wide receiver without a quarterback.
Yeah,
I had a friend say today to me, "Oh, the Bears would be better off with Chase instead of Fields." Well, who the fuck is going to throw him the ball? Is Chase going to throw himself the ball? Chase from the Bengals? Is he going to throw himself the ball? You need a quarterback to throw you the ball to make you a good wide receiver. And if you have if you're an excellent receiver, you have those skills already there, and you're going to become great from it. And if you have a mediocre receiving core and you have a great quarterback, the opposite's going to happen. You're going to develop those receivers with that quarterback. And that's what we should be seeing from Fields. This has been the narrative from the beginning, that he has no one to throw to. Well, if he's that good, like we all think he's going to be, he's going to make them better. But for some reason, now we have a bad game, whether it was play calling, whether it was just the overwhelming feeling of playing in Green Bay for, don't forget, there's a lot of rookies playing in this game, to where maybe it just was too much for them. And they had some mental breakdowns. But that doesn't mean we're going to continue this into the future. We need to remind everybody that this is a 17-game season, that we are only 2 games in. A lot of people had us beating the Packers this game like me. A lot of people had us losing this game and then winning the game in Chicago. So, fuck it. If that's the case, we lost this game. I'm happy to move on from that. Let's get them when they come here, when they come to Chicago. And let's take the fucking North from them then.
I mean, yeah, I hope. A couple of things that really bother me, though, if we continue just whining about this one for a little bit. There was one play, I don't remember which quarter it was in, where Mustafa, snapped the ball, and immediately his guy just threw him to the ground and sacked Fields just as soon, like 2 seconds. Like he had no time for even a 3-step drop, let alone a 7-step or whatever. And then at one point, you remember the fumble that Fields had. Even Collinsworth pointed out it's because Mustafa was going to be pulling to the right, so his snap was off a little bit. It's just like, man, can we get Lucas Patrick in there? I don't want to pick on Mustafa, and I'm certainly not the guy that's breaking down the tape and extrapolating this and that. But it looks like he's the weak link out there. Borum, I feel, is still a little bit overloved, but Mustafa seems like the guy that we really need. Lucas Patrick playing center and Jenkins at right guard, in my opinion, as a novice, as just a fan.
Yeah, I mean, Jenkins played well. Whenever you saw him in the game, he was playing well. He got injured for a moment. Looked like, oh, that's a little scary.
Yeah, I was afraid it was his back.
Yeah.
Even though it was sort of hobbling like a cramp, but just you could be also limping a little bit if your back's hurting too, just right. Like you can't stand up straight if you're having a spasm or something. I mean, I guess we've all had back pain at a certain extent of our lives. But yeah, I was worried that it was his back because, he's had so many issues, but thankfully it didn't appear that it looked like a short-term problem is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they ended up playing the rest of the game. So if we can get Patrick into the center position and put Mustafa back where he belongs at the backup position, hopefully we can get all this straightened out, because they started to actually, they were running the ball well at the end of the game there. And that's when Montgomery is at his best. When you start feeding him the ball, he starts to build on that. He becomes a better player as the game goes on. We saw that yesterday. And it's just unfortunate that they only threw the ball 11 times. And
they tried. I mean, starting with that second possession, they came out and it was throwing immediately. It kind of got away from doing what they were doing. Yeah, and I agree with that. The Vildor play, it's like there was no contact and they threw a flag. It's just like, fuck, man. I was just reading the comment there from PZ. It's just like, it goes into what I was saying. All the calls go against you when you're there. But they tried to pass. And maybe to the detriment of the team, just keep riding the horse you got there in Montgomery. Use that fullback, man. He's eating people alive. Yeah, that's what I would have done on fourth down. I would have to Matt Nagy's the thing he hates the most, the I formation. Put Fields under center, put that fullback out there, and just fucking hammer it down, man.
No shit. There's nothing wrong with the I formation. It works.
Brad Muster and Neil Anderson did it so well for the Bears.
And there's so many different formations you can build out of the I formation that you can trick defenses with it.
Play action. Mm-hmm. And Fields can, again, go naked and on a bootleg or there's so many things you can do. But if you put him in the shotgun there, 4th and 1 or from a half-yard line, they know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're splitting everybody out. You're bringing in the personnel to go wide. I mean, they know it's a run play. They know he's running straight up the middle.
So far, it sounds like we have an episode that we can just tape and then reuse for the next Packers game. I mean, we're right on par with like not really giving any stats or anything. No shit, me too.
I really hope not. I don't know. Man. I mean, we don't see them again until December, right? So who's to say where either team is going to be by then? I mean, you never know. I mean, everyone wants to suck their dick and say that they're en route to another Super Bowl, which he hasn't done since fucking Obama's second year in office. How long ago was that? You know, I mean, literally almost 2 decades ago.
Right.
I mean, but he's the greatest. He's the fucking greatest. No one ever comes down on him for losing in the playoffs incessantly and having poor games. So I don't know. They're going to be in the thick of it. I hope that we are. And God forbid, this is my biggest nightmare. I can't even watch the game live next week because we've got a 9 Inch Nails concert on Saturday, and I'll be driving back from Cleveland, the town that was so mean to me and Aldo around the same time last year. So I'll either be listening on Sirius or I don't know. I might just watch the game later uninterrupted when I get home. But man, if we lose to this fucking guy, look, I love Lovey, but if we lose to their quarterback, I watched his game in Denver yesterday. Dude, I'm glad he's not our quarterback. That guy's a bum. Like, if we lose, if Fields gets outplayed by that guy with the Texans and we lose at home to Lovey, oh my God. You talk about the national media beating their dicks about how bad the Bears are. It's going to get worse. And if they beat the Texans, it won't even matter because they'll be like, well, you're supposed to beat the Texans.
Yes, I know. We're going to win that game. We're going to win that game, Dan. We're going to win that game.
I hope so. Lovey's 0-2 against us. It kind of makes you scratch a little bit too. Like, ooh, is he due?
Yeah. All right. Well, we have we have Cliff Victoria coming up with.
Yeah, we need some Cliff Notes to make us feel better.
We need some Cliff Notes to get us off this shit, man. So let's bring Cliff on.
Cliff. I have some bad news for you guys. You wanted me to help you feel better. This is not going to do it.
Oh,
God. Oh, come on, Cliff. Make us feel better.
All right. It's only the 7th loss in a row. You know, it could be 10. It could be 20. It's only 7. So we can come back from it.
Okay, that's good. It's only 7, though. It's not 10.
All right. Now, I started compiling these today, and I usually type them out. I got about 2 minutes in, and it made me sad, so I stopped. So you're getting the raw notes tonight. So let's get started. Let's get through these things. We'll play the Eberflus 24-hour rule, where we get through the recap of the game tonight, and then it's gone forever, and we move on to the Texans.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I got to work tomorrow night with Aldo too, so I'm going to be whining then as well. But
yeah, you're going to have to save some whining.
It starts on Wednesday for me. We're moving on.
The 48-hour rule.
There you go.
So, okay. All right. The Packers start off with a run. And as you guys mentioned, Vildor gets that penalty. And Dan Aguire, as you said, he didn't even touch the guy. You know what? Just aiming in a certain direction is a 15-yard penalty. Come on, NFL.
Bullshit.
All right. The Bears are trying to stop the run. That was one of my keys to the game. They had to stop the run. Blackson gets in the backfield for a tackle for loss. Now, the Packers take an early timeout on 3rd and 10. They're a little bit nervous. You know, they want to calm down and not do something stupid. And I'll give the Packers credit. You know, I mean, they had a smart game plan. They used their veterans. They tried to run the whole game, and it actually worked. So, you know, I still hate them, but they had a good plan going. All right, Kyler Gordon, a great pass breakup, preventing a TD. So, he didn't have the best game, but he did do some nice things. All right, then Gibson comes back, and he gets a sack on Rodgers. All right, this game's looking better already. You know, Packers kick the field goal. Bears are down, but it's only 3-0. All right, what you guys think at that point in the game where we just seen the first drive? Were you were still hopeful?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was thinking, okay, we kept them out of the end zone. Bend but don't break, that cliche. Let's get the ball and go, at least get a field goal and tie it up. And as you know, what happened, and then you're up 7-3. The sky's the limit, man. Let's go.
I was saying the same thing. I was like, bend, don't break, bend, don't break. Awesome.
And
Kenny was like, what does that mean?
I agree with both of you. So, okay, Bears get the ball. They start on their 29. All right, great. They're not starting on their 10-yard line or something. You know, good field position. Montgomery runs twice. First down. Mustapher has a botched snap. I mean, all right, it happens. He was trying to get to his position, and he didn't hike the ball before starting to move. Then we get the flea flicker by Monty, which does end up being a nice 30-yard gain to EQ. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, Getsy's going to open the game up a little bit. Although it seems that later on we didn't really, get that much more razzle dazzle after that. So okay, all right,
Yeah,
Monty's running hard.
Flicker, didn't you? I love the flea flicker.
Yes.
So did I.
All right, Monty's running hard. He gets another first down. He gets inside the 5, and then Justin Fields takes the ball. He heads for the sideline, pushes in and gets it in just inside the pylon. 7-3 Bears. All right, now we're looking pretty good. We're happy people.
It's opening drive. I was noticing that Jenkins looked really good on that drive too. I was excited. I'm like, okay, we're in this game.
Definitely.
I had a 24-10 win, and so now we're up 7-3. This is playing right into my hands as far as I was concerned.
You just have that feeling that we're here tonight. This is our guy. This is his moment. Fuck the national narrative. Look at that. One drive, touchdown Bears. This is going to be his coming out party. You felt it. And
right at that moment, I was thinking good things were going to happen with this game. Now, at the same time, after this happens, the Sunday Night Football team, not my favorite guys, but that's besides the point. They're explaining who the Bears are, the new Bears. And I'm saying to myself, finally a little bit of recognition for what the Bears have been doing all year. So, okay, Rodgers misses. Packers get going again. Rodgers misses Dillon for an easy pass. Sammy Watkins stepping up. He catches a 15-yard gain. Packers try to draw Chicago offsides, and the Bears stayed disciplined. So, it didn't work. So that's a good thing. End of the first quarter. All right, we're through the first quarter. We're in the lead. Life is good. All right, now Aaron Jones comes in. He's running the ball. And he runs it for a TD. He gets nice blocks on that. Lazard takes out Roquan. What the heck happened with Roquan last night? It was definitely not one of his best games.
Dan?
Yeah, the simplistic explanation would be he's not in game shape yet. I don't know if that's true, but from a layman's point of view, you might be thinking that's why those practices when you're holding in actually matter.
Especially at a position you haven't played yet.
Exactly.
So he's learning on the fly. And it was a big game for everyone.
He's had things happen in the past, too, where it seems like his mind's not in the game at times. He's thinking about other things. So hopefully he's not getting into that mind frame again.
Where he's thinking too much, right? Because he hasn't practiced with the team yet. And his first practice was really recently. So
for whatever reason, I hope that he gets his act together by next week.
Me too.
All right. The Packers try to draw. Okay. Aaron Jones TD. Nice. Sorry, I got lost here. Tevin grabs a Justin fumble. So, all right. Tevin moves quickly enough, thinks quickly enough to fall on the ball so that the Bears keep the ball. However, they go 3 and out and punt. I believe they had 3 and outs in the game. So, not good.
Did you all notice that Fields kind of rolled his eyes there after the fumble?
He did.
Yes. He did. There's no way. I mean, it's not like he intentionally threw his guy under the bus, but I mean, NBC caught him in slow motion, or they showed us in slow motion, him rolling his eyes. So, he thought that fumble wasn't on him.
I didn't catch that, Dan.
Yeah. He rolled his eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Did you see Fields? He had like a 3-minute press conference after the game. And reading between the lines, you could tell that he was not happy with the play calling for the game. 11 passes. Several times he said, I don't call the plays. I run the plays, words to that effect. So he was not happy with the way the game was called.
I don't blame him. I mean, it would behoove them just to, intentionally just get like a 3 or 4 yard pass to like early in the game to Komet, just get both guys in rhythm, you know, in easy completion.
Right.
You just turn around here, Sandlot. Just catch this. I've got a completion. You get involved. You got a reception now, and let's go. Let's build some rhythm. I get you want to come out running because, you know, that's seems to be the strength of the team. But I really would love for them to try to get Fields in some sort of rhythm early, and then the rest of the game kind of comes to him versus, you know, he's got to get this Superman thing going when 2 quarters of bad play calling have led to just nothing, you know. Mm-hmm. It's hard to turn it on when your offense has been so stagnant the first two quarters, you know?
Yep.
Now, how does Fields get in the game throwing 11 passes? You know, that's not even enough to get warmed up. I see Don Burr has joined us in the chat. Hey, Don, your Lions actually did okay this week, so we'll give you 1 week of joy.
We'll give you some credit, Don.
All right, getting back to the game. Rodgers throws an incomplete pass. He's rolling his eyes. You know, so Fields isn't the only one rolling the eyes. Trevis Gibson pressures Rodgers. Rodgers throws the ball away. Now, this is one thing Rodgers is much better than Fields at doing. Rodgers looks at the pressure coming. He's like, no, this one's not going to work. Okay, the ball's gone. You know, he doesn't run around. He try to evade everybody. He realizes the play's not happening, so he just gets rid of the ball, moves on to the next play. Justin could take a lesson from it.
For sure.
Well, I'm not going to criticize a second-year guy, though. Your point is accurate, but you got a second-year guy who knows the narrative against him on national television trying to make a play.
And that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a kid.
And he's got to have an ego. You know, his belief in himself has gotten him here. So he's got to think, I can get away from all of this shit. Well, Jim McMahon did that.
Right.
He didn't want to slide. He's like, I can get away from your pass rush. Fuck your pass rush. But my body's hurting like a motherfucker now because I've been hit so much running. So, but both guys in the sense are just trying to make a play, in my opinion, although your point is obviously accurate.
I think Rodgers has just learned over the years, probably got hit so many times that he just doesn't want to get hit anymore.
Truth.
So he dumps it quickly.
And he's seen every single defensive set that he could possibly see. He knows every single thing that's going on.
Yeah.
So,
and none of us will take away that he's a great quarterback. I mean, none of us want to say that, but yeah, obviously Fields isn't going to be as good as he is at this point, if ever. But we don't need him to be as good as he is ever. We just want to win a championship, and he can beat his dick about how great he is. We don't care. We just want to win one. You know, just give us the Super Bowl, man.
Start with one. Okay. Right after this, Quinn gets his sack. You know, he takes Rodgers gets sacked. Packers punt. Rodgers is rolling his eyes again. And I'm at this point, even though the Bears are down 10-7, I'm thinking, all right, we're in it. Things are not terrible. Let's keep it going. And then Pat O'Donnell suddenly eats his Wheaties when he's up in Green Bay and kicks the ball 72 yards. Did he ever do that in Chicago?
No, his longest in Chicago is probably 50.
what the fuck is with Bears players going to Green Bay and coming back to fucking haunt us? And it never happens the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Adrian Amos has 3 interceptions as a Packer, and 2 of them are against the Bears.
And one of them finished off that game on opening night in 19 with Trubisky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we have Equanimous St. Brown, and where is his 185 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game? I mean, that's the kind of shit they would do to us. And we can never do it back to them.
Edgar Bennett never did anything against them.
Aaron Donald. Fucking Pat O'Donnell. Fuck you, Pat O'Donnell.
Shorty, you see why I couldn't type up my notes.
Edgar Bennett was so great against us in 94, 5, 6, whatever. He comes to the Bears in 98, 99, does nothing against Green Bay. Nothing.
In fact, I think it helped them win a game.
Probably.
All right, let's move on to where it gets even worse. All right, the Bears continue to run the football. You know, I mean, they ran it too much this game, but I still don't disagree with the Bears running the football. I think it is the way that they're going to learn how to win, learn how to block. Now, this drive, it actually gets going, but the Bears end up with the illegal forward pass on 3rd down. Now, come on, Justin. you know where the line of scrimmage is. You got to either pull up before you get to it, or once you're across it, just keep running, one or the other. I think if he would have run, he might have made that first down as well.
100%.
Evade one guy, and he could have had it.
Yep.
So
that was an egregiously overthrown ball that was over the line thrown. It was 2-3 yards over the line.
Right, and that's crazy for any NFL quarterback to do that.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. Bears punt again. Now we got Jones with another run. The Bears are just unable to stop him, and they needed to limit the run to win this game, and they didn't do it.
That Jones was just running the ball down our throats, and then when they tired out our defense, they would smash us with the other guy, whatever the fuck his name is. Fuck that guy, but
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan with his gigantic ham thighs. They put him in there just to pound the ball on us after they wore us down. I mean, good game plan on them, but what the fuck happened to our defense there? Why couldn't we stop this running game?
Yeah, I've never seen, and I can't think of a game where the back was just, you're unable to tackle him at all, like the whole game. Can you think of another one where the Bears are run over so decisively? I can't. I really can't. There's got to be a game like, Barry Sanders, but even like with that, Barry was more like finesse than power.
I've got one for you, Dan. How about when Cedric Benson came back to town?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Bengals and gave 225 yards down our fucking throats. How about that?
Right. Or Jerome Bettis in 05. So I'm contradicting my own point. But this is in the top 5 without question over the years, like to see the Bears defense just so manhandled against the run. I hope it's an aberration.
What I saw was the rookies were not anticipating the speed and the agility of NFL running backs. They would take angles that were wrong. They would get their feet twisted up while they're trying to make a tackle. So instead of hitting the guy broad shoulder to shoulder, they're hitting them from the side, and the guy's just running through it. So it's a welcome to the NFL for some of the rookies.
One more thing, Cliff, before you go to the next point. Sure. I'm sorry to interrupt. It doesn't matter if Dick Geron's the coach, Lovey's the coach, fucking Wani's the coach. For 30 years, the Packers have been hitting us with that slant over and over and over, whether it's Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, and we can't stop it. It doesn't matter who the Bears players are, who the coaches are, who the personnel of the Packers are. Why can't we get in front of a fucking slant? Why? We know it's coming. They run it. They've been running it since fucking Clinton was president. It's just like, it doesn't matter who our fucking defensive players are. You could put Dick Butkus in there and they'd get beat by the fucking slant. It's just that why can't we adjust to that? It makes me want to fucking blow my fucking brains out. Seeing that over and over and over, it's coming. Why? Can somebody please give me some solace here? Tell me why.
It's because it's the Packers. Dan, I don't know what else to say.
I wish I could give you a good answer, but it seemed that the Packers were the ones that adjusted to what the Bears did last week. Well, the Bears, I'm not exactly sure what their game plan was. I lost a little bit of respect for Getsy and Williams in this game.
I see why.
All right, getting back on track. All right, touchdown Lazard. And at this point, all right, these are my notes that I wrote right while the game is happening. And I wrote, Rodgers is in control. And I also wrote, I'm not enjoying this game now. So it's getting bad. All right,
I have my own notes that I wrote too, just to kind of keep up with you as you were going. And yeah, at that point I wrote fuck.
All right, so we're at halftime. We come back. The Bears go 3 and out. Now, great punt coverage by Blackwell. So that's a plus. There were a few good things in the game. If you remember that punt, it was a pretty deep punt. And Blackwell's down there immediately taking the guy out before he, even got a yard. Mm-hmm. So, okay. All right. I wrote after this. There were more runs by Jones, and I wrote Bears D line is not good. So
No.
I'm sorry to say. Oh wait, fumble, all in capitals. Bears recover. Let's go. Yeah, we're
Yes.
not out of this game.
I wrote that too. Fumble. Nice punt, tackle, fumble.
Right.
And then
right.
And then that's when David Montgomery started to really pound the ball. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then after that, the next thing a note I have is nice pass to Ryan Griffin for 18 yards, and then Monty making some good runs, and we got a field goal out of the whole deal there.
And thank you, Cairo, for not missing.
Yeah, no shit.
He looked okay again. You know,
I was worried after that first game. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, he nailed it.
Okay, let's see. Packers are getting their usual calls. I wrote it down. You know, they're getting their usual calls by the refs. Packers are keeping it on the ground as well. Let's see.
Yeah, they got a holding call there, like you're saying, to their usual calls.
Right. All right,
and then the Packers have a bad snap, but they recover.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to mention. The snap hits the wide receiver in motion. Big loss, 4th down, Packers punt.
That's the other moment that I wrote, fuck.
Yeah. All right, we're into the 4th quarter. Bears need to score. Can they do it? All right, they run again. You know, this is the time where I'm like, maybe you got to open fields up, but they keep running. They're playing a little better in first half, but still not great. All right, bomb to Mooney. You know, Fields just missed him. He really overthrew this ball. Yeah, that's not a good sign. That one should have been closer.
I think Mooney was jogging, though. I really do, but I could be wrong.
That and the ball should have been thrown a little bit more to his left instead of ahead of him. Just give him time to drift away from that defender and catch up to it on the more towards the sideline. I think would have been a better throw, but I haven't gone and rewatched it because I'm sick to my stomach over the game, so I don't want to.
I'm never watching this game again. Never.
Yeah, me either.
It was a badly thrown ball either way.
Yeah.
All right, so Fields gets sacked right after that, and this was on the one where he was trying to do the rollout that won the Bears the game last week. And
Tristan Smith sacks him.
Yes, the Packers had it schemed up. They had a guy waiting for him. They also had a spy on Fields for parts of the game. The Packers watched last week's game, and they planned accordingly. All right, Monty runs for a 20-yard first down, you know, after all this, you know. So Monty is still helping them win. And, you know, for like 5 drives, he only had 1 run. You know, why is he's working, and all of a sudden they stopped using him? That seemed like a Nagy move. I don't understand why that happened.
Yeah, he busts off that 28-yard run then when they needed 20 yards for the first down. Was it 3rd and 20? The offensive line was playing really well on that drive. That was my notes.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, watching it as a Bears fan, I mean, you know, that's what we got off the bus running, right? That's our MO, what we claim to be, smash mouth and run it down your throat. You know, Walter, and boy, we were doing it. That drive, like I said, if you're a Bears fan, it was beautiful. Well, we may have to wrap this up on the other side, what we were talking about before, if you want to do the.
Oh yeah, you're right. We're getting at 53 minutes here, but yeah,
I was just going to jump ahead to get to the point that we get the Fields running and getting down to the 1 foot line, and then the shotgun from the 1 foot. As you guys talked about, it just seems ridiculous to me. Now, Eberflus was pointing out that he did that because that gave the Bears an extra blocker with the quarterback running the ball. However, I think that Monty running good all game, you know, it was his time to score the touchdown. So, all right, the rest we can do later on. That was the last really big point for this game. The rest was not good.
This was the point, though, when we really thought that we were going to start the comeback to win this game, right? And then we get to the touchdown that they called back, or they didn't call it a touchdown. Justin he clearly had the ball over the line, the goal line. So, I mean, that should have been a touchdown. And that's just the kind of shit that happens at a fucking Packers game. They give them those calls. things don't go our way. They always go their way. Here we sit again going, how the fuck do we lose this game? It's just, it's time for it to end. I know that much.
It's time for the show to end, unfortunately, but maybe if you want to.
Yeah, so we have to get going off of Barroom Network right now. Barroom Network has Major League Baseball coming up on their network, but we are going to continue this live on Bears Country Podcast at 9-10 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys want to hop over and join us to finish this conversation, we'll have a Q&A session with chat. We can kind of bring up some of your questions and talk to you, kind of get a feeling for how you feel about this game, as hopeful and saddening as it was.
And
anyways,
I promise that the Cliff Notes are basically over. So we're beyond the bad.
We'll take right. We'll end the Cliff Notes. We'll jump this over to Bears Country Podcast live at 9-10 p.m. We'll take some of your thoughts from chat. We can kind of talk and converse with you guys back and forth, and we'd love to see you there. So if until then, make sure you like and subscribe to Barroom Network, Bears Country Podcast, such notifications, because we've got a lot of cool stuff coming on. And until next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Barroom Network. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bears.